So, welcome to this meditation atelier. Now, we are officially entering into the season of spring. So, depending on what part of the hemisphere you're in and whether you're accessing these live recordings from Australia, you will be in, maybe October, November time. For spring. So just taking a moment to settle and arrive. I'm going to begin with a reading on spring from All Year Round. So this is is it Montessori or Steiner based book? Anyway, it's for children, but I think we can all learn from this. So spring, so we had in bulk. I don't know if that's the right way of saying that actually. In bulk yesterday here. And spring, the most welcome of seasons, comes yet very slowly. The spell of winter is hard to shake off. Catkins seem in no hurry to lengthen. A new shoot pushes through a clod of earth but lingers, reluctant to rise in the cold air. As the days grow longer and the breeze softens, we patiently wait and hope. The stony ground relaxes, the ditches gurgle with the spring rains, and juicy buds swell on the twig. Suddenly comes the surprise of a warm day, and with it the urgent activity of growth. Beneath our feet the ground turns lush, the hedges fatten in a haze of green, and hungry bees flies past. Nature springs effortlessly into creative action. The birds sing praise in concert. By the end of January, we have done with the winter festivals. The snowdrops are emerging, and we turn expectantly to look for a new beginning, to see Persephone emerge from Hades. Our hopes have an almost childish fervour. A hiatus at this time can throw me back on myself to ask, where is my new growth? On the other hand, I may be overwhelmed by a sudden hustle of seasonal development and wonder, am I ready for this? I realise I am no longer carried by nature as I was when a child. I have to find my own way back to life. For the adult, transitions can be lonely times, and to find our way from dead of winter to new life in the year ahead, we may need to tap much deeper sources of hope and inner confidence. So we had Imbolc yesterday, which was the festival of Saint Bridget. And today, within the Christian tradition, is Candlemas. And the idea being that we are seeing more light. So I thought we could light a candle at the beginning of this practice. And the invitation to perhaps have light a candle today. But of course, we're not out of the woods yet. And snow may arrive at any moment for many of us, depending on where we are in the world. So just taking a moment to settle and arrive. So over the last few weeks, we've been taking time to learn some different techniques and ways of supporting ourselves and our bodies in times of difficulty and stress. And today we're going to be moving into some more stillness, of exploring how we are and listening to our needs as we make this transition. So let's begin by arriving in our bodies An invitation to notice the points of contact that you're making with the earth. Perhaps your feet on the floor, or maybe if you're lying down, the full contact that you're making with the earth. And then expanding that awareness to explore where that contact ends. Exploring the edges, boundaries and limits of our experiences. So that sense of pressure, where does it release? So perhaps exploring the seating area. Perhaps noticing heaviness where the body makes contact with the chair or the earth, the ground, the blankets, the cushions. And then from this pressure and this contact, expanding your awareness to where that ends. And then an invitation to explore other areas of contact that your body's making. So moving away from the seating area, maybe to the feet, to the hands. Being playful and curious and interested in your experience of yourself. Now an invitation to expand your awareness to the sense and felt experience of your clothes against your body and the gentle and light touch, maybe barely noticeable. Socks, underwear, straps, elastic. The physical and felt sensation of your clothes against your skin. They feel light or heavy. Your arms, your neck, your body, your back, your legs. And then moving your awareness to where the air touches your skin, your bare skin. These parts of our bodies that we haven't covered. For whatever reason, that we're warm enough, that these parts of our body don't feel as vulnerable to being exposed. What we cover, what we leave uncovered. the daily choices that we make to take care of our needs, which adjust and change with each season. The choices that we make and the simple decisions that we can choose to take care of our health and our well-being, including what we place over our skin. What are you noticing on those unclothed parts? Does the air feel warm or cool? The sense of your skin? Do those parts of your body feel cold or warm, moist, dry? Now an invitation to expand your awareness to include all of your body, and an invitation to let go of any tension or tightening that you may notice, that may have crept in without your awareness, these habits, these ways of holding ourselves. So checking that you're not slumped over, that your face isn't screwed up tightly in concentration, the forehead, the eyes, the jaw, releasing the shoulders. Each time we notice that we've fallen back into these ways of bracing and holding, we reinforce some new neural pathways. We build grey matter because it's in the noticing and adjusting that the changes take place. So it's not a moment to criticise or berate yourself. These habits and tendencies have served us well in the past, so we can thank them and release them. As we sit in quiet meditation, observing the noise and busyness of our bodies, when they hunch over, they're protecting our vital organs. When our faces screw up and our jaws tighten, we're preparing ourselves for adversity. And in this instance, we can direct our bodies to let go and to release, if that feels right for us. Letting our bodies know that they're safe. That our minds will wander, get lost in stories, and our bodies will fall into old habits, slumped postures, tightened muscles, bracing and ready. And each time we notice, we congratulate ourselves and bring ourselves back to the body, letting go of any tension or tightening that may have arrived. Bringing our attention to the points of contact that we're making with the earth, the fabric of our clothes against our skin, the air against our skin. That by simply noticing, we can grow and change, You don't need to do anything direct. No goals, there's nowhere to go, there's nowhere to be but here in this present moment, just for the space of this session. We can return to the busyness afterwards. If you notice that thoughts keep popping up, reminders, to-do lists, an invitation to say to yourself, I'll attend to you later. You can even add in a thank you. I'll attend to you later. And then returning your awareness back to the body. Checking in again and again with the posture, the points of contact with the earth, the clothes against your skin, the air against your skin. And now an invitation to narrow your awareness to your breath. And let's begin by observing the in-breath. And an invitation to pick somewhere new to observe your in-breath from. So if you usually follow the full flow, perhaps picking one spot in particular, the back of the throat, the nostrils. If you want to be particularly challenging the lip, the top lip, where the air gets sucked in. Maybe the lungs, the back. And finding somewhere new for today's practice that you can observe your breath. Could be from your feet. Be playful, curious and interested in your experience. As we turn down the volume, the stimulus around us, this constant information that we have access to, and turn up the volume on the quieter experiences of our body that go ignored for the most part of the day. Narrowing our awareness to our in-breath, somewhere new, interesting. No doubt the mind will be telling you it is dull and there are far more important things you could be focusing your attention on. Each time you notice, congratulating yourself and returning your awareness to your in-breath. Counting if that's helpful. Breathing in and then releasing. Breathing in, narrowing that lens of attention and then letting go. Checking in with your posture, your facial expressions, letting go of any tension or tightening that may have crept in. Now an invitation to bring your awareness to your out-breath. From that same spot, observing, narrowing the lens of your attention to the out-breath, and then releasing. Being interested and curious in your experience of being you, observing your out-breath. You can count if that's helpful. Checking in on your posture from time to time. Narrowing your attention to the out-breath and letting go. Over and over. And now an invitation to observe the full cycle of the breath from this point that you've picked. Breathing in, pause, breathing out, pause. So your attention here is remaining focused, but on the different elements of the breath. That childlike curiosity. Checking in with that posture. Releasing any tension that's crept in. Congratulating yourself for noticing. Noticing being the key to these practices. Leaving behind the judgments and I'm doing this right or I'm doing this wrong. There's no way of doing these practices right or wrong. We're simply observing what it is to be us as human beings, living and breathing and observing our breath. Perhaps taking a moment to marvel. Bring some wonder to the experience. What it is to be you. Breathing in and breathing out. As we join together in our group, various time zones, in person, in our own time. Being open to our experiences, to be with things as they are without changing them, without criticizing and judging, congratulating, simply being with ourselves as we are, open and curious and interested, observing our habits and tendencies. How we label experiences as pleasant and unpleasant. These bodies that have housed our experiences and hold our stories go so ignored. Breathing in, pause. Breathing out, pause. And an invitation to expand your awareness from the breath to include all of your body. As we move into this period, this season of increasing light, hopes that this brings, the potential, the growth, finding our own way back to life. Perhaps taking a moment to observe our own growth and the potential for the seasons ahead. And that we can rest in ourselves as we are, observing the breath in the body. And they can act as anchors at any moment, at any time. And just taking a few moments to rest in stillness. I'm going to read an excerpt from one of February's chapters on wintering, the power of rest and retreat in difficult times. Because of course, the weather's very unpredictable at this time of year. And often we can get some snow in February. Having hoped for it in December, it can often arrive at this time. So Catherine May is talking about snow here. I have often heard talk of the nostalgia of snow, the way that we always imagine our childhoods to have been snowier than they actually were. I still retain a little of that attitude towards snow. Try as I might, I can't produce the adult hardness towards a snowfall full of resentment at the inconvenience. I love the inconvenience, the same way that I sneakingly love a bad cold. The irresistible disruption to mundane life, forcing you to stop for a while and step outside your normal habits. I love the visual transformation it brings about, that recolouring of the world into sparkling white, the way that the rules change so that everybody says hello as they pass. I love what it does to the light, the purplish clouds that loom before it descends, and the way it announces itself from behind your curtains in the morning, glowing a diffuse whiteness that can only mean snow. Heading out in a snowstorm to catch the flakes on my gloves, I love the feeling of it fresh underfoot. I am rarely childlike and playful, except in snow. It swings me into reverse gear. Snow creates that quality of awe in the face of a power greater than ours. It epitomizes the aesthetic notion of sublime, in which greatness and beauty couple to overcome you, a small, frail human entirely. A snow day is a wild day, a spontaneous holiday when all the tables are turned. This one had a bit of the spirit of Halloween and a little of Christmas. It was wild and cosy at the same time, rebellious and heartwarming. Here was yet another liminal space, a crossing point between the mundane and the magical. Winter, it seems, is full of them, fleeting invitations to step out of the ordinary. Snow may be beautiful, but it is also a very adept con artist. It offers us a whole new world, but just as we buy into it, it's whisked away. So we're in transition. An invitation to stop a while and step outside of our normal habits. So moving, stretching, shaking, whatever your body needs, like animals. Shake it off. And let's move into sharing some tea together. So for today, I have a traditional tea I bought in Paris from a very traditional tea shop, selling only Chinese teas, no perfumes, Maison des Trois Thés, and it's called Beauté Académique. It's an oolong tea, which I have already started off. So an oolong tea's slightly between a green tea and a black tea. It's brown, this one. So the tea leaves have already been woken up, and it can have around 8 infusions. So that's what I'm preparing for us today. The idea is that you should spill some water over the teapot. And then we'll decant it into here. I'm just going to warm this slightly. I'm going to warm our cups. So this tea practice acts as a transition for us. We can bring this mindful attention into the ordinary and the mundane. Opening up to the possibilities and beauty of this. All these things we take for granted. Smells a bit like popcorn. So slowing down the movements, observing the colours, textures, the light reflecting, steam maybe. I'm going to pause the recording here, and for those of you practicing at home in your own time, it's an invitation to journal about your experience, what this transition within the season feels for you as there's more light. So we're in a period of transition. Things are waking up, being aware of what you're being woken up to. So we're going to close with the cyclical sigh, which is a breathing technique which very quickly activates the parasympathetic nervous system. So if you are experiencing stress, I've had one client who's managed to get their blood pressure down 15 points with just a few of these breathers. So it's pretty hardcore, and you need to listen to yourself on this one. We have practiced it before, but let's do this together again. So I have to guide with my eyes shut. So breathing in through the nose, and then taking one deep, sharp in-breath again, and then breathing out through the mouth. Like really emptying the lungs. Okay. And then breathing in through the nose. And then a short, sharp in-breath again. And then breathing out through the mouth. And then breathing in through the nose. A short, sharp in-breath. You'll notice that your shoulders hunch, and then breathing out through the mouth, you notice that the body will kind of collapse with it. And you can carry on with that, or return your breath to its natural rhythm. And then placing one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Saying out loud or internally, may I be well. May I live with ease. May I be kind to myself and to others. And then expanding that awareness to include our group. May we all be well. May we all live with ease. And may we be kind to ourselves and to each other. And then expanding that awareness to whoever you want to include, your town, your house, the continent, the universe, your country, whatever. May we all be well. May we live with ease, and may we be kind to ourselves and to each other. and as best you can, taking this sense of connection and awareness into whatever you have left to do with your day. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next week, and then we'll be having a pause for 2 weeks before we return again. So one more session next week before a short break.